Ladies and gentlemen, it is that time of year. The spooky season is upon us, and what better way to take advantage of this season than with spooky Nintendo Switch games? So in this video, I will break down 10 spooky and horror-filled Switch games that everybody needs to play. Let's go and get right into this video. That's right, Halloween is upon us, and better yet, today is even Friday the 13th. So what better way to take advantage of all this than with spooky Nintendo Switch games? I have 10 of those for you today, but before we get started, go ahead and hit a like and subscribe, and down below is a link to Twitch, Discord, and Instagram. Come and join the community, but let's go and get right into this video. The first game we have to talk about is Little Nightmares 2. Return to a world of charming horror in Little Nightmares 2, a suspense adventure game in which you play as Mono, a young boy trapped in a world that has been distorted by humming transmissions of a distant tower. With Six, the girl in the yellow raincoat, as his guide, Mono sets out to discover the dark secrets of the Signal Tower. Their journey won't be easy. Mono and Six will face a host of new threats from the terrible residents of this world. Do you dare take on this adventure in Little Nightmares? The whole setting and atmosphere and everything set out in this game truly gives you an eerie feeling, and it has you on edge, and it's just a special game. This is a 100% must-play game for the Halloween season. So you could probably put any Resident Evil game on this list, but for the sake of this video, I'm going to go with Resident Evil 4. In this game, you are the survivor of an atrocity, and you have gone on to become a special agent in the direct employment of the President of the United States. The President's daughter has been kidnapped, and Leon has followed eyewitness reports to a cold village in Europe. This is probably the first game I think about when I think about a horror game. Games that make me unsettled, and there's a reason why this game is held in so high regard. At this point, it's a cult classic. It's the same effect of an old horror movie. It just stands a test of time. And yeah, if you want to feel a certain type of way for Halloween, this game it's perfect for that. You know, there's that feeling that somebody's watching you, and you can feel them getting closer and closer, and then the hairs on the back of your neck start to stand up. Yeah, let's go ahead and get into the next game. Without a doubt, I could not make this list without Luigi's Mansion 3. This isn't your typical horror game per se, but it has all the elements there. A haunted mansion, ghosts and ghouls, and it's your job to explore in the dark with just a flashlight and a vacuum. This, without a doubt, in my opinion, is the greatest looking Switch game. Especially if you have a Switch OLED, this game is a huge insight into what all games can look like on the future Switch consoles, but the story here in the game is magnificent. Like I said, it's not so much going to scare you, but it does get creepy at times, and it is great to see Luigi be the hero for once. And I love how every floor of this hotel is like its own theme. So essentially you're playing through multiple games, it feels like, and everyone can be spooky or creepy or unsettling, and they all just mash together perfectly. Luigi's Mansion 3 is the perfect Halloween game. The next game we have to talk about is Layers of Fear Legacy. Layers of Fear Legacy is a psychological and psychedelic horror game about a madness-engulfed painter striving to create his magnum opus. Learn the dark story of his past while gathering carefully crafted personal items that can be found in the game. Traverse the vision-induced, constantly changing house full of supernatural phenomenon, where each move on the camera can shift the environment and discover the true motive of the artist. This is the type of horror game that does it for me. It truly is. It truly is creepy, man. You don't know what the hell is going on. You don't know if you want to turn this way or look that way, and yeah, this one is gonna do it for you. The next creepy game we have to talk about is Outlast, Bundle of Terror. In the remote mountains of Colorado, horrors wait inside Mount Massive Asylum, a long abandoned home for the mentally ill, recently reopened by the research and charity branch of the transnational Murkoff Corporation. Acting on a tip from an anonymous source, independent journalist Miles breaks into the facility, and what he discovers walks a terrifying line between science and religion, nature and something else entirely. This is a true survival horror experience. You're not a fighter. If you want to survive the horrors of the asylum, your only chance is to run. This is basically a hide-and-seek, stealth-based game with parkour-inspired platforming elements. If you play it at nighttime, you might be checking under the bed or in the closet. The next game we have to talk about is Friday the 13th, the game. In this game, you have the opportunity to play as Jason Voorhees, the most famous killer in horror. Stalk your prey, ambush him wherever you see fit, and strike fear into the hearts of so many helpless victims. Jason will be equipped with a terrifying array of abilities, giving you the control of a hunter at the height of his game. These are his woods, and he knows them all too well. Jason will not only feed on the fear of his victims, but will become stronger as the night progresses. And it's really cool because in this game you get to play as multiple versions of Jason from a bunch of Friday the 13th movies. And this is cool because a lot of horror games aren't focused on the villain per se, they're always like on the other end, like of a hero or a survivor. But in this game, it's your time to cause some mayhem. Definitely check this game out. This next game is probably one of the most scary games in the history of the Switch. It's called Alien Isolation. Survive heart-pounding horror as you're relentlessly hunted through a desolate space station. When she left Earth, Ellen Ripley promised her daughter she would return home to celebrate her 11th birthday, but she never made it. 15 years later, Amanda Ripley learns that the flight record of her mother's ship has been recovered. Amanda enters the space station to finally solve the mystery of her mother's disappearance, only to confront an unknown menace. Engage in a terrifying quest of survival. Unprepared and under-equipped, you will need all your wits and daring to get out alive. In this game, you really will have to improvise and survive, and adapt to the aliens' moves. This is such a creepy freaking game. You never know what's around the corner, you never know what's coming next, and some way, somehow, even though it's a video game, it has you checking behind you. The next creepy game we have to talk about is Limbo. Limbo is an award-winning indie adventure, critically acclaimed for its captivating puzzle design and immersive sound and visuals. One thing I love about this game is off the graphics, it's one of those games where you're like, okay, what you see is what you get, and quickly enough, you'll realize that's not the case. I don't know how they're able to immerse you so much in a game that's side-scrolling and just a few shades of color, like it's just black, white, and gray basically, but I think that's what is magical about this game. With just minimal elements, they're really able to create a terrifying experience. This is a game you definitely need to play. The next unsettling and spooky game we have to talk about is Detention. Detention is a unique atmospheric horror game heavily influenced by Taiwanese East Asian culture, religious elements, and mythology. Based on 1960s Taiwan under martial law, in this 2D atmospheric horror side-scroller, the player controls characters who venture into a school filled with hostile, supernatural events to uncover stories behind the haunted place. And yeah, this is one of those games that will have the hair standing up on your arms. It's going to be a challenge to play through it. Like, everybody's like, yeah, I can deal with horror games or I can deal with spooky stuff. This game, it really is unsettling. And I don't know if it's the writing or the pacing or what's going on here, but this is a game that you're going to want to play with the lights off. Add to the ambiance and see if you can take on the challenge. And the last game we're going to talk about today is called Inside. Hunted and alone, a boy finds himself drawn into the center of a dark project. Inside is a dark, narrative-driven platformer, combining intense action with challenging puzzles. It has been critically acclaimed for its moody art style, ambient soundtrack, and unsettling atmosphere. And this is a game that it doesn't say much, but it says everything somehow. Like, as you play through it, you really start to feel for your character, and I think it paints a picture of like a dystopian nightmare kind of. And have you ever heard the term that reality is often stranger than fiction? I think that's what this game kind of captures. Like, this could all be a reality for anybody, given the right circumstances and enough time. And as we see more and more stuff become automated and more civil unrest, like, I think this game kind of it touches on that without touching on it directly. And what can be scarier than real life situations? I'll leave you with that question, and hopefully you'll answer that yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, there was 10 spooky Switch games that you need to play for the Halloween season. Some dark, some unsettling, some creepy, some all of the above. Down below, let me know what your favorite horror game is. It doesn't have to be on the Switch. And maybe your favorite thing about Halloween. I would love to hear from you guys. And remember, if you enjoy gaming news, gaming stories, and Nintendo Switch content, then you're in the right place. So go ahead and hit a like and subscribe. And yeah, come and hang out sometime on Twitch, Discord, Instagram, any of that. I would love to see you guys over there. But you guys know me, I'll see you soon with a new video. Peace out.